What is the smallest positive integer c for which root a plus root b is equal to root c? Has a solution in positive integers, no two of which are equal. Okay, so they are asking for the smallest, so let's just use trial and error starting with the smallest number, which is 1. And since they cannot be equal, I cannot choose 1 for b, so I'll choose 2 since that's the next smallest number. And let's see what happens. So if I plug that into this formula, I'll get root 1 plus root 2 is equal to root c, and that looks to me like root 2 plus 1 is root c. Okay, so what that makes me think is that these numbers that I choose for a and b have to be perfect squares. That's the only way that you're going to get c to be an integer. Okay, I'm going to stick with 1 for a, but for b I'll choose the smallest perfect square other than 1, which would be 4, I guess. And let's see what happens now with this formula. So then now we have root 1 plus root 4 is root c. That's 1 plus 2 is root c. So 3 is root c, and therefore c would be 9. And therefore, that is the answer that they're looking for. For any k greater than 1, k exclamation mark is the product of every integer from 1 to k. Thus, 3 exclamation mark is 1 times 2 times 3. Right? The only integer n greater than 32 that satisfies. Now, I kept saying exclamation mark, but this is actually written as k factorial. That is the term that they use to describe that type of a symbol. Okay, so let's see what we have. N minus 23 factorial times 23 factorial is equal to n minus 32 factorial times 32 factorial. Okay, now before I get into this, because this have n's in it, and it might be a little abstract if I just rush right into the solution, let me give you an example with just numbers. So let's say if I have 9 factorial, and I divide that by 6 factorial. Now watch what happens. Probably going to need a little bit of extra space here to show you. This becomes 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, correct? And in the bottom, the 6 factorial is 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Now, all of this cancels with the bottom. And therefore, all you're left with is just 9 times 8 times 7. So that's what we're going to do over here, but it's just a little bit more difficult to understand simply because there's n's there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put this n minus 23 factorial here. I'm going to divide by this n minus 32. So just bring it over. And then I'll keep the numbers on the one side. So this 32 factorial over 23 factorial. Now this guy right here is very similar to what I did up there. So that's just going to be 32 times 31 dot 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 all the way till 24 in the exact same way that I did there, because the 23 factorials will cancel from top and bottom. Got it? Now on this side, which is the n's, it's very similar. You're going to have n minus 23 times n minus 22 dot 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 all until n minus 31. Yeah. 1 greater than n minus 32 would be n minus 31. And that is the way to cancel out exactly the way I did up top there. Okay, so now we have something that we can work with. At this point, what I think I'm going to do is just going to match these guys. That with that, that with this with this. So let's see, if n minus 23 is 32, that means that n is equal to 55. If n minus 22 is 31, that means, hold on, let me see if I did this correctly. Sorry, this should have been a 24. Sorry about that. Yeah, that should have been a 24. It's a good thing I noticed. Okay, so that means this is 55. And then if n minus 31 is 24, if n minus 31 is 24, then n is 55. Okay, so it all worked out. So that means n is 55. And I think that's what they're looking for. Yeah, n has to be greater than 32 and satisfy this. Okay, so that we got it. N is 55, sorry. For what value of n does 2 to the power of 2007 minus 2 to the power of 2006 multiplied by 2 to the power of 1997 minus 2 to the power of 1996 is equal to 2 to the power of n? Okay, so this is basically exponent laws. Very straightforward, nothing fancy. So the first thing I'm going to do is factor out a 2 to the power of 2006. So that gives me 2 to the power of 1 minus 1. And then for the next, from this guy, I'm going to factor out a 2 to the power of 1996. And that's going to be 2 to the power of 1 minus 1. And that's 2 to the power of n. Got it? And then at this point, it's very straightforward. 2 to the power of 2006. This is just 1, so I don't even need to write it in. 2 to the power of 1996. And again, that's just 1. Okay, so exponent laws again means that you add those exponents. So it'd be 2 to the power of 2006 plus 1996. And I believe that is 4002. Is 2 to the power of n, and therefore n is equal to 4002. In the accompanying diagram, the lengths of some segments are shown. What is the area of the larger right triangle? Okay, so they've done this labeling already, and I'm just drawing it again just for the sake of having a little bit bigger of a diagram. Okay, so that is it. I think this is going to be, I think similar triangles, but let me just label some stuff first and then I'll kind of proceed. So this segment I'll call B, and then this segment from there to there I'll call A, and then the rest is 5. So the area of that big triangle is 1/2 base times height. So the base is A plus 5 and the height is B. Okay, but obviously I need to find the values of A and B. Okay, so how do I do that? Like I said, I think you just use similar triangles. So for example, if I call this theta, this angle, then this will be 90 minus theta, and then this is the right angle, right? And very similarly, in the large triangle, that's already 90, so then this would be 90 minus theta. So using similar triangles, with the big one and the one that I'm going to highlight in green, with those two triangles, the big one and the one that I highlight in green, we get the following relationships. We get, let's see here, 5/9, so the hypotenuse of the smaller one over the hypotenuse of the big one would be the same as 3/b, because that's the side that is the 90 minus theta side. Yeah. And then the other sides, which would be 4 and A plus 5. Yeah. So that's using similar triangles. So with this guy, we would get 5b is equal to 27. So therefore, b is 27 over 5. So that's pretty straightforward there. And then, what else would I use? From these two, we would get, if I cross multiply, 36 is equal to 5 times a plus 5. And therefore, 36 is equal to 5a plus 25. And therefore, 11 is equal to 5a. And therefore, a is equal to 11 over 5. Okay, great. So we got everything we need to solve there. So we have 1/2 a, so we have 11 over 5 plus 5 times b, which is 27 over 5. And therefore, what do we have? Oh, I got to add those. Oh, I got to add fractions. Nobody's favorite. So we have 5 times 5, so 25 plus 30, 11, 36. So 36 over 5, or 27 times 5. And then I just use a calculator because these are numbers going to be very big. And when I used a calculator, I actually got an answer of 19.44. So that is the area of the large triangle. Red birds and bluebirds, 30 in all, feasted on worms in my yard. The red birds got 108 worms in total, as did the bluebirds. Each bluebird got 3 fewer worms than each red bird. How many bluebirds were there? Okay, so I'm going to call red birds R and bluebirds B, and the total is 30. And then the total number of worms, for the red, they're saying was 108, and as did the bluebird. So for the bluebirds also is 108. But the difference is for each. So each bluebird got 3 fewer than each red bird. So that means, let's just say there was X worms per red bird. So that means for the bluebird, it would be X minus 3, according to what the question is saying. All right. So now what? Now what? We have to come up with some sort of an equation here. Okay, so how do I come up with an equation? Well, I got to set this up first. Based on what I've written, R times X would be 108, right? Because there's R birds and X worms per bird, and the total number of worms is 108. So R times X has to be 108. And then very similarly, B times X minus 3 would also have to be 108 for the exact same reason. Yeah. Okay, so that's a pretty decent start. And then we're going to use this equation somewhere because we have 3 variables. We have R, B, and X. And we have three equations, 3 variables. So we should be able to figure out the answer, which is basically they're asking us to calculate the value for B. So that should not be a problem. You know, I just have to make sure everything's in one variable here. I'm just trying to think how to do that. Well, let's use this one. So for B, the first guy, this one, I can use this equation here, and then B would be 30 minus R. So put that in there, 30 minus R. And then for the X minus 3, can I get X in terms of R? And the answer is yes, this guy right here. So X would be 108 over R. Yeah, there you go. 30 minus R, 108, yeah, that would do it. And that will help me calculate R, and then in the end, I can easily calculate B from this equation. Okay, so a little bit of math here. So here we go. Let's multiply through by R. Or no, or should I do that? Well, actually, let me add the fraction first. I think that will be important. So there'll be 108 minus 3R over R is equal to 108. And then we multiply through by R. Actually, what we're doing really is just cross-multiplying 108R like that. And I think that'll work. Okay, so now we expand it all and collect like terms. So it'll be 3240 minus 90R minus 108R plus 3R squared equals 108R like that. 3R squared minus 198R minus 108R plus 3240 is equal to 0. Yeah, putting everything on one side, and then in the end, you just collect like terms. And when we collect like terms, we get 306, right? Okay, so let's divide through by 3. Hopefully, that will make it a little bit easier. So we got R squared minus 102R, and then 1080, and then hopefully this factors, so I don't have to do a quadratic. R 12 and 90. That'll do it. So R is either 12 or it's 90. Now, if we go back, the total number of birds is 30. So the red birds and the blue birds total equal 30. So R could not be 90. So R is most likely 12. And therefore B, which is 30 minus R, would be 30 minus 12, which is 18. 18 is the answer to that question. If R1, R2, R3, R4 are roots of x to the power 4 minus 4x squared plus 2 is 0, what is the value of 1 plus R1 times 1 plus R2 times 1 plus R3 times 1 plus R4? So, well, if something is a root, like for example, if 2 and 3 are the roots of some polynomial, p to the x, that means that p to the x would be x minus 2 times x minus 3, right? Now, this is a very simple kind of example. So therefore, if these are the roots of this guy, then that means x to the power of 4, 4x squared plus 2 can be factored as x minus r1, x minus r2, x minus r3, and x minus r4, like that. So let's see, what does that do for us? How does it help us? They want us to figure out this guy here. Okay. Not sure. Well, let me just call this guy f at x. And let's see what we get. I think if you do a simple manipulation, you should be able to get something that looks like that. I don't think it'll be that difficult either. I'm thinking if I put 1 for x, but if I put 1 for x, I get 1 minus r1, 1 minus r2. This is 1 plus. So I'm thinking, how about if I put negative 1, that might be able to cancel out. So that would be negative 1 minus r1, negative 1 minus r2, negative 1 minus r3, and negative 1 minus r4. And then we can factor out a negative 1 for each of these, and that turns it into a plus. Aha, that's what I was hoping. I'm running out of space here. 1 plus. Yeah. So then all the negatives, they become 1s, right? Negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 is just 1. And there you go. You just are left with what they gave us. And then, of course, we have to figure out the numerical value of f at negative 1. Well, this is f at x, so we have to put negative 1 into here. So it'll be negative 1 to the power of 4 minus 4 times negative 1 squared plus 2. So that looks like 1 minus 4 plus 2, and that looks to me like negative 1. So negative 1 is the answer to that question.